This is a Vince Marino Plumbing LLC in Pittsburgh. Today is October 26th, 2022. I'm coming back to Dunkirk boiler. They had a low draft, plenty of combustion there, but being misdirected into the flue. So we're gonna modify this boiler with a Field Controls MG1 barometric damper to control the draft and allow this boiler to run safely. Okay, so this is where I was. Actually, it's 2 weeks ago. What I had to do is, after doing the test protocol, I put tape on here so this thing would work. We had a few chilly days here in Pittsburgh. So this is where I did the draft test, and I'll go over how you adjust the damper if you don't use a draft gauge. So in the meantime, let me get started, and I'll have some footage on the modification repair of this boiler. Okay, I'm back here with the damper, the barometric. So what I did is I fit the T in, and I had to put it horizontal. Now keep in mind, if you're doing this, there's a little information here for vertical or horizontal. If the flue's horizontal, there's a certain way this chain goes. For vertical, it goes on the upper hole. So I have the spill switches. I'm going to wire those in. Now over here, what I'm going to do is make a piece of tin to seal this off. And I'm going to tape seal this off from the inside. The spill switch hole. And those wires are going to go to the new spill switch. The field controls want these 90 degrees apart. Smaller ones, I put one on the bottom, but I believe either way should work. They claim if it comes out on both sides, I mean, if this goes like this, one's on the top and one's on the bottom, you're going to get it. And then we're going to test this out and see what we do here. There was no draft with this, and it raised high levels of carbon monoxide. And then when I did the foil tape test, the protocol of NCI, everything balanced out. Now this boiler was installed, I believe, 20 years ago. It's a Dunkirk. And whoever installed this, apparently they didn't know anything about the dangers of having draft or no draft. So I'm going to get back here. Here's the tin. I bought a 8 feet by 3 feet piece of tin. And what I'm going to do is cut this and seal it off. So I'll get right back after I get everything in. Okay, I have the piece of tin fabricated. Now this is a front draft. So I had to make a notch. I'm going to put some caulk in here, raise this up tight to this, and screw this. The door will fit down below here. So this will be sort of sealed. It has to be sealed. You want to get no air in there for the proper mix. We're modifying the draft box to conform to the dilutioner to go through the damper, regulator, excuse me, for the oxygen in the air to go from the bottom. There's plenty of combustion here. It was redirected to another spot. It wasn't balanced. Pressures in the property, different buildings cause this to not to draft. So I kind of figured this one out on the I guess the rear ones are So what I'll do is I'll put some caulk behind here and screw it too. And probably a little bead behind there, I don't know. But that'll be sealed underneath. You see, I'll seal that all along. And I'll get right back as soon as I get this going. Okay, we're going to turn this on and see what happens. We have ignition. Ooh, we're getting high, very high numbers here. I'm going to shut it off and adjust something. I'll be right back. Okay, I adjusted something here. So far, the numbers come down drastically. Cold startup, it went up a little bit, but it come down. And this damper is working. Apparently the weights I don't need. Just gotta adjust the gas here. So right now the oxygen's at 10.9. I have to give it a little more gas. This is how you adjust the damper on gas. You don't use the draft gauge. You adjust it with the analyzer. So we're just going to give us a little bit up. When you add the damper, it changes everything. So your oxygen becomes more. So you want to be between 6 and 9. Now we'll take a look if 5 parts per million. This was going up to 1,400 parts. I get a little adjustment. And the oxygen's coming down. So we get that to about 9, 8. You have a good fuel mix. It's still a little bit. A little bit of turn at a time. This for the gas barometric damper, you got to adjust it by the gas. Now we're bringing it down. Want to be like around 9 is a good mix, or the maximum, between 6 or 9. So I'm going to give it a little pinch more. Get it down to about 7 or 8. So you don't use a draft gauge. You set it with the analyzer. It's coming down a little bit at a time. Now, this could be more than 3.5. It all varies, or less, but more than less likely it's above 3.5 because you have to adjust the gas to the new regulation of air going into the bottom of the boiler furnace. Parts per million are going up there way below, you know, way below the limits. We're adjusting the fuel air ratio. Now we're at 9. That's the maximum oxygen. I'm going to give it another little turn just to get to below 9. It's 8.9 now. It's good. So this is how you set the barometric damper for gas, not oil, is you use an analyzer. So that's between 8 and 9. I'm going to give it a little pinch more, not much. I don't want to go too much, as long as we're at the 9 threshold. I don't want to be above it. In the carbon monoxide study, it just went up slightly between 10 and 11. So I'm going to give it another bump. It's still at 9.1. Between 8, 9, 9. It's good. 8.8, it's coming down as it's regulating. That's about the highest I want to go. You're not going to be able to get 6, you have to turn it up pretty much. So between 8, 9. Of course, you've got to take in consideration of your valve. You can see the dampers letting air, and I didn't have to put weights on this. The ones I've been putting for gas, I didn't have to they're already adjusted. Alright, I think that's about good. This is not for any homeowner to do, so don't try to, if anybody's watching from your house, residence, you don't want to be doing this. You can get in big problems. If you are in Pittsburgh, you want to make sure your boiler is running efficiently. There's energy audits. People call to have an energy audit, but they don't do this. Your water heater, your boiler, furnace. You can call me, Vince Marino Plumbing, LLC in Pittsburgh, 412-682-6733. We're going to give, this is about 991. I don't know if any of you people are doing this. If you notice when you take the regulator's cap screw off and put it back, sometimes it increases. And this is an older valve. So I put the cap back on, and looks like the parts per million are coming down. It's 8, 9, stabilizing. That's good. and we have a good draft. So I replaced this last week, this Honeywell unit. I think these are terrible. I use the hydrostat, they work. It so happened to be when I was cleaning and checking this, the fourth time we turned it on with the owner, the relay went out. So there was a previous spill switch here that burnt out here. They replaced. That could be part of the problem, that this had a low draft. And apparently the previous technician, they weren't adjusting anything or testing. So now we come down to 6 parts per million. We're at 991. I'm going to give it another tweak up, and that's it. And, this is burning very good. It's running safely now. This is a modification. You're allowed to do it in unsafe situation. As long as you're qualified. I have the modification tag in my truck. I'm going to put it on there and tie it and have the owner sign. So I'm running testing this, running and testing here for about 10 minutes. Now this particular house here, the landlord lives here. She owns one next door, their daughter. That has a high draft. I'll be doing that tomorrow. I don't have time today. Okay, so currently the time went okay. I did the zero on my meter and I re-established it. So we're oxygen is fluctuating between 85, 87, and parts per million are coming down. It's not going up. Parts per million are a steady state. As you can see, the barometric is controlling the dilution here, and allowing it in as it needs it. I pushed that in, that's why it's doing it. The oxygen is very low. I mean, the parts per million, the oxygen is pretty steady. You want to make sure that this working good. Temperature's increasing, 377. Like I said, this boiler could be undersized due to the piping loss. She had mentioned to me that she's seen white smoke at times. I said probably that the boiler couldn't keep up. I accidentally shut it off. The owner mentioned that the boiler or the chimney, she would see white smoke. It could be condensing. I don't know. I didn't put this in, and I told her regardless of the boiler lasting or being replaced down the road, this is still needed here. Okay, so I'm going to be wrapping this up, and your caulking's drying. So in the meantime, this is a Vince Marino Plumbing LLC in Pittsburgh. Until the next adventure.